And when they went ahead to test her urine, they discovered dead spermatozoa. Hello everyone, my name is Becca. This video is in honor of two teenagers that died in 2021 as a result of negligence from school, parents, doctors. Although inspired by justice for Sylvester, I would love to also talk about the demise of another teenager which happened in June this year, and that is Karen-Happuch, because she's yet to get justice. Don't say it's not your business, it's our collective business to ensure justice is served to the victims by bringing perpetrators to book and by ensuring we prevent more cases from happening. Sylvester Oromoni Jr., an 11-year-old boy at the time of his death, who was in GSS 2 at Dowen College, Lekki, Lagos. He was physically abused by other students in the boarding house. They were senior students, and he died on 30th November 2021, which was 4 days to his 12th birthday. Also, we'll look at the case of Karen-Happuch Aondodoo Akpagher. She was 14 years old in SS1, that's a senior secondary school 1, at Premier Academy Lugbe, Abuja. She had complications resulting from rape leading to hyperglycemia while in the boarding house. She died on the 22nd of June 2021. Now let's consider the case of Sylvester Oromoni Jr. Sylvester, who was a student at Dowen College and in fact was 11 years at the time of the sad incident, had been bullied earlier by senior students in the boarding house. They collected his money, clothes, shoes and provisions. It was gathered that a 50,000 naira worth provision wasn't enough for 1 week at some time. For your information, he attended this school with 2 other siblings, sisters. One time, he was asked if he had seen his sister's private part. He said no and was beaten until he confessed to have seen it. I believe he was even made to describe it. The senior boy who got this confession then goes to the school and told the sister what her brother had said. The sister wanted beating him up until Sylvester explained. The issue was dealt with and everything went quiet. However, on Monday 22nd November, the nurse at the school sick bay called that Sylvester was ill. The parents were out of town but sent a family friend to pick him up on Tuesday. So they were not able to go on the Monday when they received the call. They were out of town, obviously. According to the housemaster, he fell while playing football, and that was what the nurse also mentioned. Honestly, he loved to play football, so anyone would believe that story. On Tuesday, when he was carried from school, he couldn't stand up nor walk by himself. The person who eventually carried him said he kept complaining of pain for every part you touch. He complained of his mouth, throat, stomach, chest, legs, everywhere, literally. In fact, his mouth had started peeling when they took him from school. Keenest, Sylvester's older brother, who graduated from Dowen but was studying in London, came into Nigeria recently and was out of town with his parents. They were in Delta, in Warri area of Delta State. But he flew in to see his brother in Lagos. He was the one who called the dad to explain how critical the issue was. Although Sylvester was complaining of pain and couldn't use the toilet by himself, he kept saying he fell while playing football. An X-ray was conducted. It isn't clear if it was by the parents or school, but Dowen College had access to the X-ray results, which showed that there are no fractures from his waist down to the feet. Sylvester's father came into Lagos, where Sylvester was, on Thursday. That means from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he came in on Thursday, flew in from Warri, Delta State, which is over 300 kilometers from Lagos. And obviously he needed to return to Warri because they had unfinished business. So he decided to move with Sylvester. Flights were fully booked. He couldn't get them on the flight, so he took Sylvester with him to Warri by road. According to his father, he didn't open up during the last bullying as well. I mean, this boy was beaten, his provision was collected and all that, and it was so hard for him to open up, to confess, because according to him, oh, they're going to beat me the more. They said they're going to kill me if I confess. So even during the last bullying, it took so much pressure for him to open up. So this time around also, the boy didn't open up easily. He kept corroborating the fact that he played football and fell, and that was how he had all the pains over his body and his bleeding mouth. However, after the previous case, he was moved from one room to another, a hostel they still shared with the bigger students anyways. Yes, I get it. Being in the same hostel with the bigger boys meant, oh, you have protection away from harm. But what happens when the bigger boys, the senior boys who are supposed to be taking care of you, who are supposed to be looking after you and keeping you from harm's way, are the ones now molesting you, they're the ones beating you, they're the ones doing all sorts of harm to you? And this is not the first case. It happens in almost every boarding house. It's almost like a norm where senior students beat up, molest, take provisions meant for junior students, ask them to wash their clothes. They do all sort of dehumanizing things to the junior students, and it's seen as a normal thing. Very normal. Anyways, on arrival in Warri, Delta State, a doctor attended to Sylvester and confirmed that there is no fracture for him to have been experiencing such pains. However, there were several black spots and swollen parts. At this time his mouth had peeled badly and all those. Their family doctor came around and took blood samples, administered drip and medications to him at home. Later, the samples returned, revealing that Sylvester had malaria, and I guess they treated him for malaria. Finally, on Monday 29th, 2021, 1 week after the incident, between the hours of 11 and 12, Sylvester confessed that he never played ball, nor went to any field for any sort of sport at all. He narrated that at night, while he was on his bed with other students in his room, the senior boys walked into his room, put off the light and started beating him. He fell from the bed and they were matching him with their legs and finally gave him something to drink. It was dark, so he couldn't make out their faces, but he could tell from their voices, he could tell that this is so person. And obviously this is not the first time he is coming in contact with them. These were some of the boys who had also bullied him before now, so he could tell who they were. So he mentioned that they actually gave him something to drink and they told him never to expose them. He shouldn't mention their names to anyone and shouldn't talk about the incident. Also, the other students in the room were also warned never to mention the case to anybody. The father of the deceased, Sylvester, also mentioned that the boy, Sylvester, while he made the confession, never said that he was asked to join a cult, as against many public posts that, oh, Sylvester said he was beaten and was asked to join a cult, and he said, no, I'm not going to join a cult and all that. The father said he never said so. However, he wasn't clear on what led to the beating, but they beat him up and gave him a substance to swallow. Sylvester was able to mention 3 names out of the 5 people that beat him up. He mentioned Benjamin Favor, Anslem Temile, and Kashamu Michael. After his new confession, an x-ray was reconducted since the previous one was from his waist downward, which didn't show any fracture. Kenneth, the oldest son, the one who came in from London, called Mrs. Adebisi Olayiwola, the principal, and asked that he speak with the boys that his brother had mentioned via video call, which happened. They also mentioned that, oh no, Sylvester actually went for a football match, he played football, and that was the only thing that happened. That was the narrative they also gave. If you ever see the faces of these boys online, this was the time the picture was taken. When Kenneth made that call, he took a screenshot, of their faces. Sadly, Sylvester died on 30th of November, few days to his 12th birthday. The family have submitted a petition to Lagos State Police Command and Warri as well. Their demand is to bring the perpetrators to book. They want the school to tell the true stories. If he actually played football, the other students he played the football with should come forward and corroborate their story. Also, if what Sylvester had said were the true account of the situation, then he wants the other students in his room to come forward and talk about the situation as well. So this is the petition they have pushed ahead of us, because we've been told that there are no CCTV cameras in the school, so they don't even know who moves where, what, in such a school where people are paying a lot of money, to have the kids in there. They mentioned that they do not have CCTVs, so it's pathetic that they couldn't even monitor their students or have a means to actually go back in time and watch what had happened. I mean, even if there are no CCTVs in the hostel rooms, they will be able to tell if some senior students walked into a particular room at some point, and this will help investigation. But according to information getting to me, there are no CCTV cameras. Also, pre-autopsy results gotten through scans show that there are some black substance in his tummy, and also that his liver was swollen before he died. After his death, the school issued a statement on 3rd of December that reads,
"Urgent. Dear parents, in view of the current situation concerning the school and considering the emotions of our students, we have advised that our students stay home tomorrow, Friday 3rd and Monday 6th. This will also afford the students opportunity to revise for their forthcoming examinations starting next week. Thank you for your understanding."
However, Lagos State government on the same day, 3rd December, issued a counter directive that the school be shut down indefinitely. Afterwards, Dowen College then issued another statement on 4th of December 2021. There is a rumor that 2 of the boys that Sylvester mentioned in his confession have been taken out of the country. I don't know how true this is, but it's public knowledge that this is happening. I don't have any facts to back this up. However, I saw another narrative online and I want you to see it. It's important. So if he truly played football and fell, other students involved in the match should be interrogated. If he was beaten as narrated by late Sylvester and captured in the chat above, the students should be interrogated. The senior students mentioned should be interrogated. Either ways, they should. All we want is justice for Sylvester. That's all. Now, quickly, I'll run through the case of Karen-Happuch. So yeah, like I said, Karen was a 14 years old senior secondary school 1 student of Premier Academy Lugbe, Abuja. She had complications resulting from rape, which led to hyperglycemia while in the boarding house, and died on the 22nd of June 2021. For information, Karen was diagnosed of type 1 diabetes at the age of 9, and she has been managing it till her death. According to an account given by the mother of the late girl, on Friday 18th of June, Karen called that she wants to get medical attention for an eye infection. She wanted her mother to come pick her from school. Her mother reached out to the school and they said if taken away, she'll be on isolation for 7 days without mixing up with anyone or attending any of her classes. So the mother didn't want that for her, that if she gets the exit, then she comes back for 7 straight days, 1 week. She won't be able to talk to her friends, attend classes. The mother said, no, I don't want this for my child. So there was an alternative discussed, and the mother said, okay, fine, no problem. Let's have the alternative. So the alternative was that they would take her to a designated hospital. The mother will meet them up there. She will make the payments, and the school will take her back to school. So treatment done, both parties happy, right? They wanted to take her out of school so they could take good care of her. So if that is done, Sefini, no problem. So the mother agreed to do that, and that was what happened. They met there, the treatment was done, and they were about to go back when Karen told the mother that, Mom, I thought we agreed that you're coming to pick me from school. What is going on? Why do you agree why did you agree to this? Why do you have to bring me to the hospital with the school when you can just pick me up? So the mother had to explain to her and said, oh, my darling daughter, I was told that if I get an exit for you, on return you have to stay on isolation for 7 days, and I didn't want that for you. So Karen was surprised. She said, no, there was this other kid who was allowed, to go for her mother's birthday. So it was not even on medical emergency. It was her mother's birthday, and she came back, and there was nothing like isolation. The chap has been everywhere, So the mother was like, okay, really? She said, yes. So I don't know why my case is different. So please do something. I really want to come home. So at this point, I will be thinking, okay, now we've taken care of you, but you still want to come home, then there is more to this. Also, if it is true that a child was released to go home for her mother's birthday, why are they finding it so difficult to release a child to me? Someone has a type 1 diabetes, So anyways, the mother also felt touched, especially when they were leaving the hospital, and Karen told the mother, Mommy, will you still allow these people to take me away and take me back to school with them? Will you still allow me to go with these people? The mother felt terrible. So she was like, okay, fine, I'll come get you. So that was on a Friday. On Saturday, she went to the school. She had called the principal on Friday and told the principal it's a him, told him she was coming to the school to pick up her child. So he said, no problem, when you get to the school gate, just give me a call. So on the set date, Saturday, she got to the school and called the principal, but the principal wouldn't respond to his phone calls. So she went ahead and called the matron, and what the matron did was to try convince her again to say, oh yeah, when we took your daughter to the hospital, you were there also, she had bacterial, it was bacterial. She had a bacterial infection, for the eyes, and she's fine. We can take care of that. We can manage that. No issue. Just go back home. Do not stress yourself. Remember, if you take her, she would have to stay in isolation, for 7 days. So the mother thought about it again and said, oh, okay, you're making sense. Okay, fine, I'll go back home. So she had just turned to go back home. Apparently, maybe Karen heard that she was around. So Karen made a call. She called with the school line, with the school number, and said, oh, Mommy, are you set to come pick me now? So the mother had to explain all over again to say, oh yeah, they said it's bacterial infection and you'll be fine. So Karen started crying, and she said, Mommy, you don't even know the reason why I said you should come and pick me. Then you got to the school, and then someone convinced you, and you're going back, so you will leave without me. You don't even know why I said you should come pick me. While she was still at that, her house mother collected the phone and spoke with Karen's mother, saying, you know what, Mom, I would love to advise you. Please disregard anything the matron has told you, because this daughter of yours needs medical attention. Just 3 days ago, she was supported to class to sit for a test. She couldn't even walk by herself. So please come take your daughter. So the mother was so pained. She felt so angry. So she came back, she drove back to the school, got to the gates, and started calling the principal, who refused to pick her calls. Called the matron, refused to pick her calls. Finally, she had to call with a number that the principal doesn't have. So the principal picked the call. On realizing that it was Karen's mom, she got really pissed and said, oh, madam, you will not allow me to rest today, Abby, So she said, no, I'm so sorry, I just want to pick my daughter. So finally, Karen was released to them. So the mother narrated that when Karen came out of the school gate, she had her hand over her face like this, and she wouldn't come to them straight. She moved to the side of the wall and just leaned on the wall with her hand over her face, and she didn't know what was going on. What was wrong with this daughter of hers? She felt, oh, it's just a tantrum, So they went home. On getting home, that she just went into her room. In fact, she switched off all the lights and she stayed in the dark. And her mother said, she felt she was still angry with her, still angry over the entire situation, so she let her be. But in the evening, she realized that Karen had grown so weak and she even vomited. So in the morning, that's Sunday, she had to take her to the hospital. So when they got to the hospital, she was so weak, they had to pass her drips and all of that. In the process of the medical examination and all that, they discovered she had a discharge from her vagina. On examination of the discharge, they discovered condom. And when they went ahead to test her urine, they discovered dead spermatozoa. Karen went into coma and never woke up. She died in the early hours of Tuesday, 22nd June 2021. Such a tragedy. After her death, her mom, while going through her things, saw her Bible with some places marked, which included Job 3:25. For your information, 5 weeks earlier, in a discussion with her classmates about what they feared most in life, she had said rape. That what she feared most in life was rape. At the time of her death, the coalition of gender-based violence responders were already helping to fight for justice. At some point, they asked Premier Academy if any teacher has been involved in the case of sexual abuse, to which they answered no, emphatically so. What I did not know was that the coalition had an evidence.
We also gave them a chance to maybe imagining that they didn't understand our question, and we asked again, Premier Academy Lugbe, have you ever had a case where you had to suspend a staff, sack or suspend a staff for allegations of sexually molesting a student? They responded again, never. Whereas at the point where the coalition was interviewing them, we already had a February 2021 sack letter, indefinite suspension letter, issued to the physical and health education teacher, where it was unequivocally written that he is sent on indefinite suspension as a result of sexual molestation of a student.
Obviously, while the parents, family, and friends were mourning, the school was busy granting press conferences and releasing numerous press statements. They were more concerned about their image. The late Karen was diabetic, and until her death, never played with the food she ate nor the insulin she got. The school had made a point about her parents being careless, which led to her death. So a family that took care of a child up till when she began schooling at Premier College would suddenly have killed her in just 2 days. A child that was well groomed to the point she could take the insulin jabs herself. So truly, the autopsy results mentioned hyperglycemia, which Premier Academy quoted. However, they neglected the other parts that stressed on rape and sodomy, both vaginal and anal penetration. Sadly, just few days ago, 29th November, Karen's mom, alongside the coalition, are still seeking for justice. 6 months down the line, 6 months after. As you can see this tweet by the renowned journalist David Hundeyin. Six months after, justice has not been served. How do they want the parents of this girl to cope? Premier Academy didn't own up that they did something wrong or that something happened to this girl under their watch. It's possible that it's not a teacher who did that to her, maybe even a fellow student, but at least the perpetrator should be brought to book. The mother, the parents, they need closure. They need a closure. May God rest the souls of the departed and comfort the family they left behind. Amen. There was a case of Don Davis, whom many people thought the mother did too much. People thought, oh, Don Davis, the mother did too much. She insulted the church. She went online to make videos, to make live videos. She was everywhere, literally like a mad person. They thought that hers was too much. Behold, It wasn't too much, and it's still not too much. Don Davis, who at the time was a junior secondary school 1 student, got sexually abused and sodomized by senior students in a Deeper Life High School boarding house, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. According to Don Davis, that these boys, while everyone was asleep, they came to him, and I think it happened over a period of time, and they'll be fingering his anus. Why? Hey. The mother took to social media to make videos about the case, The letter appeared in court as well. Now, in retrospection, the mother did just right. In fact, just few days ago, she gave us an update. So finally, men and brethren, sisters and brothers, what can we do? We need to sign a petition on change.org platform for Sylvester and Karen. Find the links in the description box. Sincerely, I'm afraid that this dust that we are raising about justice will soon settle. And by then, will justice be served? Really? However, let's do our part while we still can. Let's sign the petition. I believe that if we have the audacity and courage to push for this, the world will be a better place. Justice for Sylvester, justice for Karen, and justice for everyone who have been treated unjustly. Thank you.